that's all I have to say. Make sure you have the notification bell turned on if you don't already have that turned on. And if you want to see how I get my hairline to look like this, then just keep on watching. Alright, so you want to start with a wig cap on, and underneath my hair is just braided. I braided it into 10 braids just so it lays as flat as possible under the cap. And then I like using this it's kind of like a flesh tone cap, because you'll see underneath when you part the lace, it looks like more like a scalp. If you wear a black cap, if you wear a black cap, it's going to look darker underneath, and you'll have to like add more concealer. So if you wear like a lighter colored cap, it'll look more like your scalp. And your scalp is always a lot lighter than your face is because it just doesn't get enough sun. Like my actual scalp is this color, so it does look more natural when you have it on. Okay, so I just put this guy on. I put it on and I kind of leave my edges out. I have a lot of baby hairs, as you can see. Like I just have a ton. They kind of will always come out from the start of the lace, as you'll see when I put it on. But if you don't have a ton of baby hairs, then you won't have a problem hiding all of your hair. You just want to slick your hair back and just tie it down so all of my hair underneath is completely covered. I also have a ton of sideburns and a lot of kitchen. Look at my kitchen. Okay. Now you just want to put on your wig, and then this is the wig that I made. I will put the link to the video in the description box if you want to see how I made it. But basically I just put 2 clips on the side of it. This is the frontal lace, and then I put a band on, and the band is really important for ensuring that your wig won't come off if you're trying to, like, I don't know, dance or something. You want to have a band because it wraps around the back of your head and make sure your wig doesn't come off if you, for whatever reason, swing your head forward, or I don't know what you do in your free time. You just want to put it on so it ensures the wig will always stay on. So you just want to, I don't know, I can show this. I've never done it sitting down before. You put this on first and tie this to the back of your head like this. You want to make sure the band is like flat on the back of your head. And then you'll take, oh, I also put a clip on the back right here. You'll take the back of that, and then you'll tuck that last clip right underneath the band. Oh, and you'll see you'll look crazy initially. But this just ensures that you can like move your head all over the place and your wig will never come off. Okay, so now I didn't do much to the hairline. I tweezed it a little bit on the sides, but for the most part I left it as is. I cut it a little bit like towards the front and around my ears. You want to start just by obviously pulling it back in the front because no one's hairline is that low. I mean, unless your hairline is that low, I'm really sorry. Normal hairlines aren't that low, so I just pull mine back a little bit. And then as you can see, my baby hairs naturally just kind of come out, which helps because it makes it look a little bit more natural, but I'm going to show you how to make baby hairs on your actual wig. I'm going to start just by lining that up the way that I want it, and then I'm going to pin this hair back so it's out of the way. We could just see the hairline. And then I'm going to take my Got To Be Ultra Glued Styling Gel. This is not glue. If you've watched hairline wig videos before, then you've probably seen a ton of people use this. It's not glue, but it does work like glue. The only difference is when you wet this, it immediately dissolves. So like if for whatever reason you get your wig wet or like you're sweating a lot on your hairline, it will dissolve and start to move. But I like it because if it's dry, it literally will last like 3 days. So I just take a little bit of this and apply it all around the hairline, like where I want the lace to stay. So definitely like right along here. And I like to start on one end and work my way up. That way I'm not like constantly pulling it back up. And then you want to take a blow dryer. Why did I say that like I didn't know what this was? You want to take a blow dryer and on cool, make sure it's cool. Blow dry it down. So just work in little sections at a time, and that will help it work better. So now I'm just gonna do right here. Okay, so you're just gonna do that all the way across the hairline until you lay down all the lace. Okay, so once you've done that, you just want to let the lace and the glue dry a little bit. Some people like to go in and just like tie it down. I didn't bring my head wrap because I'm an amateur. But if you just let it dry for a little bit, then it will get like sticky, and then you can move on to the next step. It's weird, it doesn't move. So now it should be dry. Obviously, the longer you wait, the more dry it'll be. When I'm doing it at home, I like to put it on and then wait at least like 30 minutes to an hour-ish just to make sure it's for sure dry. If you don't feel any more wetness, then that means it's pretty dry. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna move on. I'm just going to be fragile. You should be fragile though anyway, because if you rip your lace, that's like the worst thing ever. So now that it's on, you can see it still looks pretty unnatural. I know that I want to wear this particular wig like in more of a side part kind of thing, like this, but you still have to make sure the rest of it looks nice in case the wind blows or something. So we're lifting a little bit over here, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more. So now I'm going to take a comb and I'm gonna create some fake baby hairs. So I'm just gonna like lightly comb down on the very edge of the wig where the shorter hairs would naturally be. And then I'm just going to start to pull those out. You want to make sure when you're pulling down so you're not lifting the lace. You can also go in with tweezers and find like specific hairs that you want to pull. But you want to be really careful with tweezers so you don't rip the actual lace. You just want to pull hairs out. And I know that I'm going to make this a side part, so I'm focusing more on this side. And if you'll notice, like on your natural hairline, the front of it is usually more full than the sides are. So you want to make sure you're really kind of going in where you're like the sides right here, because that's usually where most people grow less hair. So that's where I like to pluck from the most. And then I leave the front of it still pretty full, but if you look at a natural hairline, it's not as full as like a wig normally is. So you want to make sure when you're creating your hairline that you're kind of mocking the way your natural hairline looks, or that like a hairline that you like the way you want your hairline to look, because no one's hairline just goes forehead and then a full head of hair. It's always like gradual. A lot of people like to pluck prior to putting it on their head, but I found that when I do that and then I put the actual wig on my head, the hairline doesn't match up with my normal one. So I like to put it on my head first and then lightly pluck it. So now we have some pluckage to make it look a little bit natural and some baby hairs. Alright, so now I'm going to create my part. The part I want is to be like right here. As you can see, this is where my cap starts right here. So it does make it look more like a scalp, whereas like my natural hair is right here, but this is where we can add concealer to blend it out. And then you just want to go into where the part is and just pluck out some of the hair so it looks more natural for where you want your part to be. So you don't want to do too much of this because you don't want it to be too wide. You want it to still look pretty natural. You also don't want to pluck too much in case you ever want to change your part. You want to be able to still hide this part. And then you just want to take your concealer, whatever concealer you normally highlight with. I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Caramel, and your concealer brush. And you just want to lightly run that concealer along the lash line so that you can hide the dots. And then it also matches with your cap. And it's okay if you get a little bit of the concealer on the actual hair because you can go in with black eyeshadow and blend that out. So I can take this all the way up into my scalp. And then you can take a little bit of that concealer and just add it to anywhere where you feel like the lace is showing. And it'll make it look more like skin. So next we're just going to lay our baby hair so we get those out of the way. And to do that, you're just going to want to use a baby hair brush. This is just a toothbrush that we call a baby hair brush. And you just want to first lay your baby hairs the way you want them to lay. So I like to pull a little bit of these and just kind of like swoop them like I like my natural baby hairs to go. Just kind of swoop it and mix it in. Blend. Do a little bit over here. And if you want to make your baby hair shorter, you can go in with like, I like to use a little razor like this guy. And this just will like shorten it, but not make it so blunt. Baby hairs are essential for making the wig look as natural as possible. And then I'm going to take the littlest bit of that glue and just like tap it on the top. Wiggle the hair around, move it around until you get it into the style that you like. So I'm not going to worry about any other part of the hairline. If you want, you could just kind of pull some of the baby hairs down so it looks natural on the other sides. But since we're doing a side part, I just wanted to make sure that this side looked as best it could. And then after that, you're pretty much done. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I just added some curls to the wig, and then to make it lay flatter, I just take a wand and just kind of run it along the part, and this just makes the part more prominent and makes it lay flatter. If you really want it to lay super flat, you can wet the actual lace and then straighten it to that direction, and then it really won't move at all. But if you're doing it when it's dry, just putting heat on the actual part will help it lay flat. So this is the finished look for the side part. Put a little bit too much gel so it's a little bit white. For the most part, it's fine. I'm still new to this, guys. This is only the second wig that I've ever made and like put on, so I'm learning as I go. If you have any tips or suggestions for me, please leave them down in the comments bar because I will read them and I will apply them because I'm still learning. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please give it a big thumbs up. I will definitely be doing more hair videos with wigs now that I'm obsessed with them. Like, I don't know how I was living my life for so long without it. If you'd like to get the hair that I'm wearing, all of that information will be down in the description bar with a link to where you can go and purchase it. I really do like this hair a lot. This is the second wig that I have from them, and my first one is still amazing. So you can keep them for a long time. It's an investment. I mean, and they're not even that expensive. Like, I feel like it's still really moderately priced, and they last a long time. You can wash them and condition them and reuse them, and the hair lasts a really long time. And I'm always like messing with it. As long as I'm like looking at it, I'm gonna just keep messing with it and trying to make it even more perfect. The key to learning this is just to keep trying and finessing it and playing with it, and then eventually you'll get it to the way that you like.